You're listening to Australia's national youth radio station, Triple J. For more info, go to triplej.net.au.
Sunday Night Safran. Religion, politics, culture, and lisping.
Shalom, Father Bob.
My friend, the seat is just...
If you see someone in the street who's a guy who's been on an ad where he's beaten up a woman, for God's sakes, don't go up to the guy and say, why did you beat up that woman? Because it's like there's a thing called stock photography.
Truly?
Yeah, so like in ads, like they just go through these stock photography books and you just pay the £100 or whatever. Yeah, so the guy in the domestic violence ad, he hasn't really, unless incidentally, as well as being a guy who posed for a photo 10 years ago in a totally... It's like a...
That's a bit spooky for me.
For you? Why? Did you get photos taken to be put in a stock photography book?
Exactly. Mad priest. Stock photography.
Big business in it. I once...
Are you in it?
I'm not in the stock photography trade. I once knew this woman whose husband was, and he'd kind of go around taking photos where you'd kind of have to second guess what advertisers would want to buy.
Oh, that's a marvellous
So
bloody creative art, isn't it?
Yes. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be talking to... What provoked that?
Yeah. Why'd you start off with that?
Because I just happened to be reading a paper before where it was a story about violence, and then there was a picture, and then I looked below and it said, blah, blah, Getty, stock photography, blah, blah. So and I was just worried that maybe if people had read that paper and seen that guy in the paper...
Nice. That's public service. Thank you for that.
We have Emma Schwarz, who's senior editor for Hardy Grant Books. They're the ones who do those funny books that are, the working dog people. They're like send-ups of Lonely Planet guides and stuff. And they do all other books. And she's going to come in and review a school essay that was sent both to you and me, Father Bob.
No names. We're not allowed to say the boy's name, the school's name, or anybody in
no, we can say the boy's name. We can't say the school's name. We had it's the most complicated interview we've ever lined up, this, with Simon Weidenstock.
Will we hear from him himself?
We've had celebrities over there, famous people. This, we had to, there was negotiations with his school principal, all that kind of stuff. It would have been easier to have got Brad Pitt on the show. We also have Reporters Sans Frontières.
Oh, I like that one.
I know you do, even though it says Reporters Sans Frontier, I know it's Son, but is Frontier, is that singular or plural?
Plural. Borders.
Yeah, but when you say it in French, is Frontier. If a French word has an S at the end, do you do the S?
Yes, plural.
Yeah, but do you pronounce...
Oh, it sounded... No, Sans Frontier.
Thank you.
No S.
So if you have to call for, just say you're getting, like a cluster bomb has fallen on you.
Yeah.
And you have to call Doctors Sans Frontier. For God's sake, don't embarrass yourself as you're lying there with the shrapnel in your flesh, and you're making the phone call on your mobiles to Doctors Sans Frontier. For God's sake, don't embarrass yourself by going, is this Doctors Sans Frontiers? It's spelt Sans, but it's Sans. Don't be an idiot. That's for any people who are listening from the Horn of Africa, where there's civil wars and stuff. We also have John Ronson, who wrote a terrific book called Them.
I looked for him. I looked for him in
many
the
years
Guardian.
ago.
I looked for him in the Guardian.
All about secret societies and so forth.
So this is the Bohemian.
At the moment, one of the great secret society kind of either real or conspiracy, we don't know, called the Bohemian Grove, this kind of secret fraternity where all these very rich, powerful people from all the corporations go once a year. Well, that's happening at the moment for the next couple of weeks.
They leave their power and their corporateness at home.
Well, we don't know. John Ronson, he's one of the few authors who's investigated. And I think he's actually got in there, but I don't want to overpromise. Right. I think he got through the gates or something. Anyway, John Ronson, very talented man. He's going to tell us all about that. We're also going to be talking to a Collingwood fan. Collingwood is a Melbourne football club, a Victorian football club, part of the AFL, the Australian Football League. And she was an Irish, Anglo, Collingwood supporter. And then she decided at age 40, mid-40s, she's going, I'm going to be a Muslim. and she's become a Muslim, and they've made a little...
Oh, she made the movie, or she's in it?
No, she's in it. She's the one in it. You watched it, didn't you?
I watched half of it. I watched the pies and all that.
What?
You see?
So
I put it on
these
the machine.
These people have put out a documentary about
Here it is here.
Islam in Australia.
Here's a bloody thing that says, Hello, mate.
Yes.
Episode 3 plus Episode 4 preview.
Yeah, go on.
Please return after use. Now, I'm saying I watched
a bit.
But it went into blackness.
Oh, you idiot. They put that... I saw that too. That's where the ad break is, you idiot.
And
Fool.
she's
Sorry, I
on
didn't mean to
after
call you
the-
an idiot.
I like being called an idiot. She's on after the blackness.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
They put in the black because it's where the ad break is going to be when it runs on the TV.
Oh, God, that's like the Japanese thing that I watched right through.
And we also will obviously have Religious Song of the Week. Thank you, Father Bob. We'll talk more after this.
Sunday Night Safran on Triple J, LCD sound system with all my friends.
You know, on the guest book, someone brought up an interesting point. They said, how come we're having guests on where they kind of talk up slavery? We had 2 weeks ago, but the thing is, we're too stupid. We got kind of tricked into it. 2 weeks ago, we had that rapper, what was his name? Brother Ali.
Yes.
Talking about all this social justice stuff and talking about, you know, how good religion is and his Islamic faith and help. And then but he does slip in the middle. He's talking about slavery in Africa and under Islamic law or whatever. And he did slip in when you listen to it that was somehow a different type of slavery to the kind of the bad slavery.
How'd
that the
that
white
get
American...
through?
Well, because
we were sitting here, just
picking our noses with our grins, going, "Oh, yes,
we must be."
Okay, fine. There's
I'm gonna
one.
pay attention.
Then the next week we've got that Cherokee Indian dude,
and again slaves.
Yeah, and again he's sort of going, well, you know,
It's
like
different.
there was. You got to understand when the Cherokee Indians owned a black slave, it was kind of different from when we
So
are.
we
How did this happen?
international or
How
something.
did this happen that we've slipped into? We are the only pro-slavery show on the dial.
Oh, God.
It's like it's that thing, that slippery thing. When you get older, you slowly become more
don't
right
go
wing.
on about
You become
that.
more right wing and you don't even notice it. I have no idea
John
how.
Howard fell over. Yeah, go on.
Not even like on Alan Jones do they advocate a return to slavery. We are the only show on the dial listened to by the pro-slavery demographic. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Father Bob, I know how to annoy listeners who listen to this show on the clock radio. And the way you do it, because this is what was happening the other morning. I was listening on my clock radio, like where it's like, you know, it's going to turn off automatically at some point.
Yeah.
And the DJ left big pauses in between his phrases and sentences. So
It could go off.
when there was a break, a pause in his sentence,
Yes.
I didn't know whether to reach down and turn it back on again.
Ah, yes. Like
Because
that.
yes. And I was lying in bed. I was getting so tense. Because
Every moment is like going through hell.
I was trying to relax. And then I just didn't know whether there was that pause because the clock radio had gone off and I have to lean over,
I preferred that.
or because he was just taking a break. Anyway, I've got that off my chest. I was very tense. And do you know what that was? That was ABC Local that was stressing me out. And can I just clear up something? Because I got a bit of flack because I was having a go at John Fain.
Yeah, did you get a bit of flack?
An ABC Local DJ. And I was quite hostile. I was sort of like saying, how come he puts all these funky stings on his show to make out like it? You know,
Even I remember that.
And then I accused him of being 508 years old. Now, I've got to admit, there was a bit of passive-aggressiveness there because he once bagged me years ago. Well, he didn't really bag me actively, and I've never forgot, and I think it all came out.
Truly, it took that long. How long? 10 years or something?
I remember after it's not all about me. Lord knows it's not all about
God
me.
knows. This program's not about...
No, this is about politics. This is about big things. But if I can just divert and talk about me and my achievements...
for once.
Well, just for
talk
once.
about yourself, John, for a minute.
After I won an AFI award for Versus God,
Yes.
I was driving in the next day and I hear John Fane on the radio and he's talking about last night's AFIs, and he talks about, he's going, I can't believe it, that Kath and Kim didn't win the AFI. It was won by this John Safran versus God, whatever that is, watched by one man and his dog.
Ah, gotcha.
Let me tell you, Faney, when you said that sentence, you were locked in.
He was,
You were
wasn't he?
locked in. It's taken me 5 years, but then when I had a chance last week, that's why it all came out. I don't forget anything, Bobberino.
No, that's why I'm very careful.
You are for someone very careful, you seem to constantly berate me.
No, I'm not. I'm very careful because I'm aware of my vulnerability. Especially now that I'm elderly.
Yes.
Because now is the season for hunting down the elderly. You see what I mean? Howard's gone because he's elderly. He fell over.
Yes.
So that's the great turning
Was that
point.
good or bad? I don't understand what's good or bad for your electing chance. But maybe it makes him look human or something.
No, these days you've got to perform to your peak, like Sheedy, who's a saint and an icon.
For the Essendon
Football Club.
Part of and Chris Scadden, our program manager, always says, how come you always talk about
Melbourne?
Can I point out it's the AFL, the Australian Football League? It hasn't been the VFL for about 25 years.
That's right. And Sheedy, you see, because he hasn't performed, has got the chopper. So I'm putting out a warning to elderly priests.
Yes.
All right?
Elderly co-hosts.
Those who are not in prison. All right? To beware, do not go out of your presbyteries at any time unaccompanied, because there is a squad out hunting down elderly men.
You know, like when you're attacking someone and you're thinking afterwards, sometimes after I do some self-righteous, indignant attack on someone and what they do, it's like a bit later I'm thinking, maybe that wasn't really the exact situation where I should be taking the high moral ground. So last week after we were attacking the John Fane show and ABC Local in general.
You were attacking, not me. I wasn't attacking John Fane.
For giving the airwaves to very, very elderly people.
Yes.
It did occur to me after the show ended that this show's co-hosted by a 73-year-old priest.
At least 73.
Possibly that wasn't the area that we should have been attacking another radio show.
No.
But I was so caught up in my fury because of that whole Kath and Kim thing 5 years ago that I lost all...
sense of time.
I did. Anyway...
They say on that guest book now that they are drawing attention, including this cheeky boy about whom we're going to be talking in a moment.
Yes.
This cheeky boy inferring that I was senile.
Yes.
I wrote him back an excellent answer to his request.
Yes.
In detail, and he had the cheek to say he read through it, couldn't work out what I was talking about. Ergo, I must be senile. Couldn't it be that he's stupid?
Well, Will
we actually talk to this boy, or are we talking through a medium?
No, we're going to be talking to the boy after this.
Her sons and daughters, that is, with Johnny Cash from the album Love the Cup.
This is Triple J.
And I'm in Australia who reads out the titles of songs.
Only slightly younger than John Fane, Father Bob Maguire. Man, am I really the enfant terrible that I was all those years
ago
on Race Around the World? I mean, how long can you be the enfant terrible? I'm talking about the enfant bit.
Yeah,
I can be terrible.
Not the terrible.
I can be terrible with my Zimmer frame.
Yeah, you've got
Barry Kosky. He's like he's that play director, and he wears like Harry Potter glasses, and he's always doing kind of festivals, the Adelaide Festival and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's definitely the oldest enfant terrible. You read any article on him, they'll talk about enfant terrible Barry Kosky, and he's just, what would he be?
68.
68. Joining us,
I'm making it up,
is a youngster, Emma Schwarz, senior editor for Hardy Grant Books. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I never knew you were senior editor.
Yeah, that was a fairly recent promotion.
No, really? Yeah, because it's like I've like, if I've ever bumped into you in the street, I haven't like, I've just treated you like, bowed or curtsied or anything. I just like considered you not a schmo, but something in between. Something in between a schmo and
schmuck.
A senior.
And a senior.
Is it?
Now, we've called you in here because there's this certain little... I don't like to use the word twerp. But anyway, this kid here emailed me and he said, John, can you read over my school essay and tell me what you think about it? So I was like, I wrote back. I said, yes, I will. I'll get onto this or whatever. And then, apparently, like, having to wait a week and a half... is like too long, like, because apparently I'm just like sitting there sort of waiting for like school assignments to come in from randoms and like, so I can immediately get my red pen out and start sort of like analysing them, right? So he was quite angry. He sent these increasingly kind of angry emails to me like, what's going on, John? I need my essay now. Like, we're not allowed to mention what school he's from, but private school. And we won't mention what ethnic persuasion Simon Weinstock is of, but perhaps it's one of those ethnic persuasions where, as a boy, like there's some, like Greek boys or Italian boys or Jewish boys, and they're sort of like, they're just brought up in these kind of things where their mothers stroke them and tell them they're genius.
Yes.
Oh, you're the smartest boy. Oh, you're the most beautiful boy. Not that I can relate to this.
Sorry, I've had some experience with that. Apron string, yes.
Did you have a brother or something?
No brother, actually.
Anyway, so he's like, John, why haven't you got this? Like, I want to know what you think of my essay now. And then so he sends it to Father Bob.
Yes, send it to me.
Anyway, so Bob straight away, Bob's like...
Immediate.
He's immediate, right? So he writes back and gives some little critique of it or whatever. And then Mr. Simon doesn't like what Bob has said. So then he writes...
He said he couldn't work it out even.
And then he sends me an email, right, where he both attacks me like John... At least Father Bob, gets back to me, unlike certain blah, 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 who, people who go in the media thinking they're down with the common man and, put this Michael Moore post, but then when you send an essay, they can't even be bothered getting back to you, blah, blah. So he attacks me, and then he attacks Bob and says, well, I don't like what he said because...
He's senile.
He's senile, and he calls Father Bob senile, basically because if you don't, if you're not in awe of the Simon essay... then you're senile, all right. Anyway, so then I read over his thing, and I think it's kind of... I kind of like it. I think it's a good essay. But I do write, the occasional critique, it wasn't...
constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. Like, it wasn't The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. But,
it was these days, really.
It was. But so I go generally, and I try to be positive and stuff like that, but I do have the occasional criticism, right? And then this little snarky thing comes back, because I haven't, stroked him like his mother did, sort of over the Shabbos table, like, oh, you're a genie, you're the great, or whatever. So he sends me this snarky little thing back going, oh, listen, I can't talk about this now. I've got an essay to do. So now he's snubbing me off. Suddenly, at one point, I'm the guy behind the velvet rope, allowing people in and out, and then in sort of some sort of abstract thing which I don't understand, suddenly he's snubbing me off for I don't know what. Anyway, so I thought he obviously doesn't like it where, he doesn't believe Bob and his critique, he doesn't believe me and mine. You're a senior editor at a major book publishing company that puts out books such as the Working Dog books, those parodies.
Mulvaney and Mulvaney and San Sombrero.
Yeah, so he can't even pretend, because if you have anything negative to say, he's going to go, oh yeah, you're some old school thing. You only cover, those Oliver Twist. And so you don't understand how the new youngsters work.
No, we're young and hip. Although if you use the word hip, that probably counteracts that.
You put out John Stewart's America book.
That's right.
There you go.
We're down with the people.
You're down with the people, we're down with the kids. Now, and we have on the line Simon Weinstock. Are you there? Simon? Oh, my God. Just so we've made him cry or something. Simon?
Yes.
Hey, how are you? Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, Bob.
Shalom.
Hey, sometimes I don't know when I'm kind of, we've got a guest on the phone and stuff, whether they're hearing the stuff, the 5 minutes leading into when we push the button on the air.
Yeah, I've been languishing here, John.
Oh, have you been... Did you hear all that?
Yes, the twerp remark.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really mean it that. Obviously, there's two sides to this whole story and stuff like that, and you obviously have a right of reply. Anyway, what's the latest update with your essay? Before Emma Schwarz, senior editor for Hardy Grant Books, gives her review on it, what's the latest update? And by the way, do you know the rules? because we spoke to your principal, and apparently you're not allowed to refer to any specifics in your essay, just in case a marker is listening to this show now and it influences their decision. So we've kind of, you know what I mean. And as you three know, we've changed the name around the names of the characters.
Yes, we have.
So if any marker is listening to this now and then happens to be the one who's marking his essay, they won't make the connection.
No, because we won't refer to anybody except Moishi.
Yes. So, Simon, what's the update with the essay? Have you done any more revisions since me and Bob saw it?
And the Duke of Canterbury.
Duke of Canterbury, indeed. Yeah, I've been editing it a bit. I've been, refining it, trying to make it.
It's 20 pages. That's pretty good, I don't want to...
I mean, it's about 7,000 words, and they want it to be, between 7 and 8. So
and what's the absolute last due date? When do you have to hand it in? No more extensions.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure. It's about a few weeks from now.
Okay, excellent.
I'm not so good with the whole date.
And so what was it about Father Bob's critique of your work that you felt the need to reject his critique and furthermore accuse him of senility?
It wasn't that I didn't appreciate that he read it. It's just that what he said about... I mean, with all he's got his job to do. I mean, as a priest, he's got a... I won't touch the children thing. So he just sent, 2 lines saying something, 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 South Park or The Simpsons.
Yeah, I said you fell between the South Park and The Simpsons.
So what's wrong with that? That seems like I read your
that
thing.
is a compliment.
Yeah, but it doesn't, and it also doesn't seem ridiculous based on what the article is, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not like that doesn't sound totally wrong.
Yeah, but it wasn't coherent. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah, no, I understand. And what about my critique? I put in like a page and a half there.
You can't tell me that Safran's is coherent.
No. That was a very good critique, and like I told you in my email, I was name dropping. I was like, have you seen my email?
Oh, so you didn't mind my criticism?
Oh no, I loved it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. This has totally turned it around. Now, can I just say I understand what you're saying about Father Bob sometimes sounding a bit senile and stuff. He doesn't know how to just bang it out. Anyway, what I think doesn't matter, what Father Bob thinks doesn't matter, because he's senile. But what Emma Schwarz, senior editor for Hardy Grant's books, that's what matters. What did you think of Simon Weinstock's essay?
I'm a little bit worried to give my opinion because I'm scared it's going to go me if I'm not coherent. And to be honest, I didn't have the code of all of the different people, so I might be a little bit vague in general, if that's all right, Simon.
Yep.
And you can interrupt at any point. First of all, I was really surprised by the length of it. I mean, back in my day, we certainly didn't have to. I think it was maybe 1,500 words was the maximum. So I'm pretty impressed at the ambition of it, and you've obviously put a great deal of thought into it. But I was a little bit confused. I don't know, maybe I'm going senile, but I think I left it and I wasn't sure what the point was. I know that might be a bit harsh and maybe I just need to be sort of talked around it, but now there's silence and I feel terrible.
Well, which bits didn't you understand? Maybe I can help you out.
But are you supposed to understand it?
Well, maybe that's it.
All right.
No, it's not some postmodern bull crap. It's supposed to be straight,
No, I thought it was satire.
Yeah, it's satire, and it's supposed to...
Well, satire's not straight.
Well, it's supposed to show, that these religious figures aren't so religious after all, and showing their follies and, all their bad traits. And it's just, I guess, a metaphor for the hypocrisy of religion in general.
Oh, well, you should have told me that.
Now, of course, my one criticism of your piece, in between all the flattering things I said about your work, was that some of the characters were like made out of thin air, if you know what I mean. They were just new characters that we'd never heard of before, but reflected follies that humans have. But then there were some that were clearly based on public figures, even in the way you named them and stuff. And I thought you didn't need that. You didn't need to kind of drag in well-known public figures because it was strong enough without that, and also it kind of gives it a limited lifespan, I guess, if you do something that topical.
I agree. Sorry to just butt in, but I got not confused, but just I thought either stick with the totally made up or the half made up characters, or go with the real ones. But I thought that the blurring of the two just made it a little bit.
Didn't work.
Well, it didn't work for me. It might work for other people, but I just thought it was trying to be both of them when maybe it should have just been one or the other.
Right.
So I reckon it worked.
Well, John's Father Bob's not so senile after all.
Well, that's what I reckon it worked, because it was supposed to be satirical, and satirical means it's half real and half fantasy.
I think satire is a really hard nut to crack, really, because everyone's trying to do it, and it's hard to do it well.
And what did you think? What did you think of the structure of it? I thought the structure of it was very good.
Oh, you're talking to me? Oh,
yes.
Me. I liked the. I don't know how much detail I can give, but I liked how it was divided into the characters, and that it was.
They got
was
together in the bar.
Yes.
That was excellent.
Yeah, I liked that, and how you saw the story from the different perspectives, and I think that could work really well.
Yeah.
And so if this landed on your desk and it said, "Oh, listen, here's an example of my work. I want to do a collection of short stories, Dave Eggers style."
Give him a contract.
What would you say, Emma Schwarz, senior editor for Hardy Grant Books?
Well, I don't have the authority to hand over the contract, unfortunately, Simon, but I could certainly put in a good word. But, yeah, look, I think that a lot of the manuscripts that come across our desks, they fall into either we'll never have a hope, really, or which is quite sad, and I don't mean to say it so brutally, but there's that pile, and then there's the pile of ones that, could get there with some work or show obvious talent. And I think that there is talent there, that you've thought about it a lot, and come up with some really great. There were some really great turns of phrase in there. It was really, every so often I was sort of jolted out of, oh, okay, yes, I'm doing something quite different, especially different for a high school student. And I don't mean that in a patronising way. I mean that in a...
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of the fact that you're in Year 12, because it's kind of a bit in between. It's not quite, like if you're 15, there would have been that whole, for a 15-year-old, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess 17's not quite, a grown-up, but it's pretty close. I didn't know how to kind of contextualise your essay, like how to read it, if you know what I mean. So I read it in a very non-condescending way and just...
I'm past bar mitzvah, so I'm a man,
Yeah, no, I can understand.
Yeah.
So any other questions for us? Or anything else you want to know about your essay?
What does your teacher say?
My teacher likes it. I mean, the whole thing is it's going to the New South Wales Board of Studies, so at the end of the day it's very subjective, because it's satire and it's not, eloquent language. So they think it's good, but like I said, it's subjective, and it could go either way.
Well, that's the risk you got to take. Do you want to be a full-time professional writer when you leave your school?
I don't think my parents would like that, John.
No.
They want me to go into...
What profession would that be? That wouldn't be one involving stethoscopes or judges' gavels.
No, that would be my grandma, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do your parents want you to do?
Probably something to do with commerce, to be honest.
No, fair enough.
Following my brother's footsteps.
Fair enough. Listen, I don't want you to get down. I thought it was good. I told you the truth in my thing. I said it was good, and you had a very good turn of phrase, like Emma thought. I said it had good rhyme flow. That's what I said, because I thought...
Rhyme flow?
I thought
You're making up words
made
now.
me feel like a rapper.
Yes. I thought that was the only way I could explain. It rolled out on the page quite well.
Next two-pack.
Yes. So then, so I think I thought it was good. I don't want you to be down on it or anything like that.
No, I like it.
I think you should send it to George Pell for the World Catholic Youth Day.
Yeah, he'd like that.
Well, put it on. Offer to put it on.
World Youth Day.
Yeah, next year in Sydney, for God's sake, they're going to have...
Yeah, aren't they bringing down the Pope?
Oh, they're bringing down everything. They're bringing down the Randwick Racecourse, for God's sake, for 3 months, 4 months.
Is Christ turning up for this?
Christ is turning up at the Randwick Racecourse.
They've got that big sign saying, 212 days till National Youth Day.
Yep.
But it's not really national.
Of course it's not.
And
It's very divisive.
how annoyed and embarrassed are those people going to be, Simon, when the Jewish Messiah comes back before that and we're all taken to Israel on clouds with wings of eagles, thus proving that Bob's been following the wrong faith his entire life.
They might fight it out at Randwick.
Anyway, Simon, you better get back to doing more homework on this chilly Sunday night.
Yep.
And keep us up. Will you keep us updated in how the essay went?
I will. I'll email you. Keep in touch.
And, yeah, good on you.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Bye.
Editor. There we go. Blue juice with vitriol, John. Have you ever tried that?
This is Triple J. We didn't say goodbye to Emma Schwarz.
Sorry,
and
Emma
thank
Schwarz
her
from the
senior
album.
for Harvard, but thank you very much.
No worries.
Anyway.
Have you ever, just before you go, have you ever turned down a book?
Harry Potter.
Yes.
That's every editor's nightmare.
And you know, I met the woman who, because you know the Australian publishers who turned down Harry Potter.
No.
The thing is, they had to actively turn it down because it was like, you know how it's part of a multinational kind of thing where there was like local chapters or whatever. So someone at the publishing company, that's why it's under different labels, different countries in the world, had to actively it was handed to them and had to actively go, no, we don't want to do Harry Potter.
But surely by that stage it was already a success overseas.
Not the absolute first one. It was a success, but not a success.
Yeah, I think it was the third one where it really kicked in. Yeah, no, you don't want to be that editor who just puts the kibosh on something amazing. But ultimately it is always subjective, and that's what worries me every time something comes across my desk. When it's really obviously crap, you think, oh, thank God, because you know you can turn it down. But
crap might be in.
You look at it and think, maybe it is this postmodernist, something that I'm not quite getting, and you know, it's going to win all sorts of awards.
What are those smart aleck journalists who they do this one at the newspapers, like on cycle every 4 years or whatever? It's like, let's take something really, really, really famous and we'll...
it's Patrick White.
Yeah, Patrick White, and we'll reformat it so it looks like an amateur manuscript. Then we'll send it in and then we'll go, aha, you see, Patrick White could never get published.
Yes, and then there's a week of silence from the publishing companies, and then there's publicity that comes out and says, well, you know, the publishing world, the industry at the moment, we're just reflecting what's out there, which is true. So I guess you've got to think about your own personal taste and then what's selling, the sort of crass commercial side. But just, you know, what appeals to... I mean, I think with us, at least at Heidi Grant, there's that sense of what will work for us and what will work for our readers, I guess. So it's that gut feeling, I think.
I'm scared about writing a book for one reason. It's that when there's the launch of the book, you invite all your friends along, except then there's this thing where they're expected to buy the book. So it's a bit like, not quite like Landmark Education or Amway, but it does seem a bit like, is there a way you can have the launch and no one's allowed to buy the book? Or will the publisher not be into that? Because that's like a couple of $100 there, and, you know...
Well, usually the book's there to be sold, but it doesn't have to be it's not the sole purpose of the launch.
Oh, yes.
If you wrote a book, for instance... Yes. You'd probably have some sort of media stunt, I'd say.
I see what you mean.
Possibly not even
I just
can't...
I just feel bad if I was to ring up Jeremy or George or my friends or Michelle or whatever, and I said, hey, well, they got an invite in them, hey, come along to my book launch or whatever, and then when they turn up, it's like they're grisling because it's like basically they have to fork over $27 to get it.
But they also get free snacks. And
exactly.
booze.
Exactly.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, $27.
If I ever write a book, I'll give you one. I'll give you a complimentary copy.
My book will be coming out next year.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Which one?
There's a man writing a book.
Is that the guy who interviewed me?
Yes.
There's this guy who interviewed me
Collins.
about Bob, and it was really awkward because he was like prodding away trying to find out really nasty
dish the dirt.
Filth. He really like awful.
The dirt on Bob.
Yeah, and he was
so
doing
this is an expose. Or is this
know what
a
it is.
memoir? You're
And he
not
took me to
writing
a-
it. Somebody...
No, he's writing
He
it
took me
about
to a bar. He was like, "Oh, let's meet at
Did he?
this
A
bar,"
bar?
and then he was like buying me drinks and stuff, and I was like,
Trying to get the dirt.
and he was phrasing everything like casually, like pretending it wasn't really part of the real thing, but
Off
I
the
know,
record.
yeah, because that's what I
see.
always do to other people.
Yeah,
so
see.
I knew what he was getting at, and so it was all this like, "Oh, let's talk about the footy," and "Oh, let's
That's
talk
right.
about this," and "Oh, I heard this thing once about the data and the
Boys
accounting
that hang
books
around
and
the
stuff."
presbytery.
Yes, and
the
stuff like
accounting
that.
books and the money that... Oh, my God. I can write it myself.
So,
know.
did you dish any dirt? Or was
No. I felt loyal for some reason,
Yeah.
in some reverse psychology
You
thing.
won't be alcohol.
Yes, unless it's like I'm like Costello.
Exactly. Waiting
I'm right.
until
And
the
going,
old
Father
man...
Bob never invited me to dinner. Thank you very
what
much,
a-
Emma Schwarz.
Beautiful.
No worries.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Blonde redhead John with 23. We've got Jean-Francois Juliard, who's the head of the research department of Reporters Sans Frontières in France.
Jean, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
We always get our international guests to explain where they are, like what they're looking at the moment. Are you like in an office? Are you out there in the field or something? Where are you?
Yes, I am in Paris in my office. So my colleagues are just arriving because it's the opening hour of our office in Paris.
Excellent. Now, Reporters Without Borders, why do we need this organisation?
Actually, we are an organization which defends press freedom day by day. So it means that we fight to try to improve situation of press freedom all over the world. So we defend journalists imprisoned. We do some investigation regarding the cases of journalists who have been killed, murdered all over the world. We try to fight censorship. So, yes, we are actually a human rights organization dedicated to freedom of expression.
And in which countries is it bad enough that journalists are actually getting killed at the moment?
Iraq is the worst one. Just to give you some figures, some examples, this year in 2007, 58 journalists have been killed all over the world, and 39 have been killed only in Iraq. So
And killed by who?
We in some cases we don't know, but in most of cases they have been killed by armed groups, extremist groups, some people who just don't want that this Iraqi journalists work for international media, for instance, or just because they were from this religion or this one, or just because they were from this town and not this town. You know, it's very, very difficult and very complicated situation in Iraq.
Okay, so that's killing. And what about being chucked in jail? Which countries can you still be chucked in jail for being a journalist?
The biggest jail for journalists in the world are, the first one is China. Around 30 journalists are currently detained in China, and some of them detained for more than 15 years. The second one is Cuba. In Cuba, 26 journalists are currently detained right now, and there are other countries like Eritrea and Ethiopia in eastern part of Africa. A lot of journalists are also detained there, and other ones in countries like Iran or Azerbaijan or Burma, Vietnam. Unfortunately, there are a lot of countries which still continue to imprison journalists.
And what about in the first world? Are there problems? I don't know, in America, in Australia, in the United Kingdom? Do you get involved in that, or is that all?
Yes, there are still some problems about press freedom, but minor problems compared to the killing or the jailing of journalists. But yes, in United States, for instance, there are problems regarding protection of sources. You know, last year and this year also, some journalists have been not arrested, but summoned to the justice court just to give their sources. And so it means that, yes, we still have to fight for press freedom, even if our democratic countries. About Australia, I'm not a specialist about Australia, but I know that there are some very sensitive issues like the refugees situation. And I know that some journalists had some very big troubles because they tried to investigate about this situation, about refugees in some specific areas in the country.
And there are people who don't like your organisation, obviously, and it gets a bit, I guess, a bit tangled or whatever, because I guess in some ways, you know, the kind of people who don't like America have to sort of face the reality that America probably isn't the worst offender on this issue, and you have people who are saying that, you know, you're too against Cuba, and you're just trying to make those countries that are critical of America look bad by exaggerating things and stuff. Have you heard those sorts of complaints?
Yes, of course. It's true that some people say that, for instance, some people say that we are funded by CIA. Of course, it's false. I mean, our accounts are public and are publicized. You can just find our accounts on our website. So it's very easy to check that we are not funded by the CIA, of course, obviously. But yes, some people don't want that we attack Cuba. Some people don't want that we say that there is a danger for press freedom in countries like Venezuela or Iran, because these countries have the feeling that we just follow the line decided by the U.S. government, and of course it is wrong. And these people just should have a look at our website to see that we are not kind with the United States. I mean, we criticize very harshly the position of United States in Iraq or in Afghanistan or even in American territory. As I was saying, some journalists have been arrested these recent years in United States, and we criticized it very strongly.
Excellent. So what's the website if people want to look into Reporters Sans Frontières?
Yes, it's www.rsf.org.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, you're welcome.
This is Sunday Night Safran with John Safran and Father Bob.
In the scene from the album Rawville John.
This is Triple J. That is Father Bob. I am John Safran. Do you think it's weird that, because I'm still living in my car? Because
those men still haven't left your flat.
Yeah, the people who are doing work on my flat, and it's just dragging out a bit. And so what I do, I have a big cardboard box in my car where I've got like a doona and I've got like all my essentials and my toothbrush. And then sort of like when it gets to night time, I've got a few locations. Sometimes I stay at my dad's flat, sometimes...
In the car?
Not in the car. I freaking go up to the flat and stay there. But one of the is this weird? I'm staying at an ex-girlfriend's house with her new boyfriend.
It's suggestive.
Is that? I don't know.
I think it's suggestive.
Seems like a bit, when I'm there, it seems like some kind of sitcom. Seems like I'm pitching a sitcom. Like,
I think so.
Anyway, so what happens is he's been like kicked out of his house because the floorboards are being done, and he has to stay at his ex-girlfriend's house with her new boyfriend.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, how does he take it?
I think he's okay. He doesn't like that I'm making fun of his book collection.
Oh,
he's like, you
walk straight in and say, "Oh, look at the heap of shit on the wall."
Yeah. So I'd like mock him if he's got like a Chomsky book or whatever, and then just gets too much. Like one of them, he's like, "Ha ha, yes, that's very ha 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 ha." Yes, you're poking a bit of fun at me there.
But he had a limit.
Yeah, and then after about 10 books of where I'm just like basically, just
mocking the whole lot.
Yeah, he's like, John, like you are staying at.
Yeah, exactly. Your other ex-girlfriend's place. How many of them are there?
Of what?
Ex-girlfriends.
There's not that many, Bob.
You sure? Because I've heard of a few over the last few years.
Yeah, but they're usually the same one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was 27 of them.
No, not at all. Father Bob.
So you're parked in people's yards, but actually living in the car?
Yeah, so when can I stay over at the...
Presbytery?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
What? Do you think...
That's all I need.
Well,
I'd have bad luck where somebody would come in the middle of the night and murder you or something, and then it'd be on the paper the next day.
Ah, yes. I've heard of pretty lame excuses for not having me over, but the fact that you're worried that I'm going to get murdered...
Yeah, because my place is wide open.
Yes.
There's a bloke sleeping on the veranda last week. I had to move the whole of the collection of furniture from the veranda.
Yourself?
So, not myself, so that he would not be tempted to sleep there. Now do I hear Simon from Sydney say, there you are, typical priest.
Hypocrite.
Talks good.
Yes.
And throws the poor man off the veranda. But I'm saying after 30 years in the place, I'm nervous about what happens to men on verandas. Not at the hands of priests, but maybe during the night. You know who comes creeping up the path.
Christ?
No, not Christ at all. No.
Ooh,
no.
what? Who's going to...
Hannibal Lecter. They're all out there in the dark.
Yes.
And they say, I can smell fee-fo-fi-fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Up he goes to the... That's John Safran's sneeze, by the way. And then does the man to death on my veranda.
It's good you're thinking of all
I think ahead.
eventualities.
I cover all eventualities.
I saw that
I'm a
new
Virgo.
Michael Moore film, Sicko.
Did you? Tell me about it, because he wasn't there at the show the other night.
You saw it too?
No, I didn't see it too. I saw it referred to enough times to think I've seen it.
But anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is because they've got this footage where it's someone's got this secret camera footage where the hospitals in America, where they put the sick people who can't afford to pay, they put them in a cab and then they get dumped around the corner, sort of like...
On the seats. Public seats.
Yeah, they get dumped around the corner because it's like that's their way of dealing with it.
That's
it's pretty,
futile care.
Yeah, it's pretty...
See what I mean? There's no room for you here. We can't do anything for you. And it would be better for us if, in fact, you were outside of the perimeter. See, that's futile care. That means they're no good looking after you. Ooh, that's a bit, isn't it?
So
what about babies down the chutes?
No, they didn't cover
See, that's
that.
coming.
Is that in your film?
Not in my film. Yeah, babies down the chutes. You see, because that baby was on my veranda 18 years ago or 20 years ago. And I'm still waiting for... Open the door. She says, hello, Father Maguire. Here is the note that my mother left on the basket. See what I mean? Beautiful.
Beginning to understand why Simon Weinstock said...
What, Sennel? Well,
Coming
who's
up...
next? We got the Bohemian Grove and John Ronson, the British author, journalist and TV personality.
When you say John Ronson, can you pronounce it without the H so the audience knows it's a J-O-N John?
Yeah, John, J-O-N John. I didn't pronounce the H at all. The John Ronson, John.
Excellent.
No H.
He's coming up soon.
Mark Ronson, that was with Stop Me from the album Version.
That's the Smiths, isn't it?
What? No, it's Mark Ronson with Stop Me from the album Version.
The Morrissey from
Who's
the
the
Smiths? That's the cover of the Smiths, I think, or at least of Morrissey.
Is it?
He's the he's involved in People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
What? Don't cut their throats or something? Or...
Yeah, Morrissey. It's all very... But then, my favourite Morrissey period was when he'd come on stage... I think this was maybe in the early 90s or something, and he had the British flag with him. And this was before there was that, the Spice Girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it started flying, he's a fascist. It was like coming out with a Union Jack flag was like just touch short of coming out. Like, why are you doing this nationalism thing? And then all the rumours started floating that he was a fascist, and then everyone started reading things into his lyrics.
Oh.
He had like songs like Bengali and Platforms and stuff. National Front Disco, which, depending on how you read the lyrics, is either fascist or anti-fascist.
It's an art to read the public's mind. The young public's mind. You have to be a diviner.
I do like Morrissey. If anyone's a Smiths fan, can you explain this to me? When the Smiths started, their lyrics, like their first album, like their lyrics aren't fun and witty. Like they're fine, but it's just like their songs and they're quite serious, right? Then as the albums went on, they got a bit kind of cheekier and more satirical. But then by the end, but they're meant to have gotten worse, if you know what I mean. So your average Smiths fan thinks they've gotten worse in the inverse of what I think, which is that they got better. Like, I can't stand listening to their first album. I don't get it. It just sounds melancholy and witless. By the last one, with Girlfriend in a Coma, ha, 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 ha.
Ah, he got the whole...
Funny.
Funny. What about John in the guest book?
Oh.
That boy who says, why don't you explain to us what you're wearing? Because you want people to explain when you ring overseas guests. You say,
yes.
where are you and what are you doing
Kind
there?
of picked the wrong week to do that with. I'm actually wearing a suit at the moment.
That's what I thought the kiddies would like to know.
But you know why I'm wearing a suit? It's part of the whole living out of a box. I've got a suit is the easiest thing to kind of just...
Did you buy that suit for a particular reason? Because it's a very well-tailored suit.
It's from years ago. It might actually be in fact, I know it is. This is a taxpayer-funded suit.
Truly, what's stolen from the ABC wardrobe or something?
Yeah, it was for a show.
I see.
But
Sorry,
I'm still wearing
raising
it.
that, I mean.
You know what the rule is, by the way, if you're a television performer?
You keep it?
No. You get it half price. That's what's meant to be the thing. That's a general thing. Because you know, they're stuck with... The production company's stuck with all the clothes and props at the end.
Of course.
So you're meant to... But I might have... But having said that, I might have just nicked off with this. I have nicked off with, definitely.
What?
I've got 2 Ronald McDonald suits at home, stolen from the ABC. Were on 2 different shows. Actually, no, I stand corrected. One stolen from the ABC, one stolen from Channel 7.
They could be waiting
I
out
both
there.
did. I did a pilot for one. I did a real show for the other, where I needed a Ronald McDonald suit. Costume did it up, pocketed it. So if anyone needs to borrow a Ronald McDonald costume,
Federal Police could be waiting outside the studio tonight.
I got in a fight with this guy. It was really strange. It was like at a party. I don't know if he was a bit drunk or whatever. And it's a friend. I won't mention his name.
No names.
Tony Wilson. And he said...
Tony Bloody Wilson.
No, that's Kevin Wilson.
Oh.
And he started talking to me about global warming. And I said to him, I was going, oh, listen, I don't know anything about it, but, I've never made I don't like venturing opinions on things. And he started getting angry at me. He's going, oh, that's the problem with you, John. You don't take a stand on these things and stuff, and you've got a voice on the radio and blah, blah. And I just said to him, I'm going, give me a freaking break. It's like there's nothing more well-publicised than global warming. Why do I have to say anything? And I'd never said, I never came out and was against global warming. I just said nothing either way.
Yeah.
So is that
enough.
okay?
Yeah, of course, I think it's fair
And
enough.
can you tell me morally, is this right? Sometimes when an issue is so well covered, I don't feel an emotional need to kind of stand up for it.
No, leave it alone.
It's like me going, oh, listen, guys, World War II was really bad.
Yeah, no.
It just seems like it's like, why? Is that wrong? Also, I've noticed when I see either John Howard or Kevin Rudd on TV being annoying, I don't actually get irritated.
No.
Because I know...
That they are annoying.
But I know that so many people
Tomorrow
bag
in the
them,
newspaper will be
both of
writing
them,
that.
Yeah, and like all the cameras and focus are on them and everyone's waiting to trip them up, that I just don't feel irritated by. Is that wrong? Or am I meant to just be irritated by Kevin Rudd or John Howard?
No, you don't have to do any of that. I agree with you. But it tends to blandness.
Who, me?
All of us.
Yeah.
Blandness. So the one thing for the triumph of evil is that bland people do nothing. But I agree with you. The kiddies don't want us to be politically, what do you call it, active on their radio shows because they're worn out.
Well, what about Tony?
We haven't mentioned Dr. Hanif.
I noticed that Tony Wilson, who hassled me about global warming, isn't going around talking about the Cherokee Indians who kicked the black people out of it.
Exactly. See what I mean?
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, see, where was he when the Cherokee Indians...
We're kicking out the black people.
Exactly.
No, he was bravely telling us about, global warming.
Yeah, he was reducing his carbon footprint. See what I mean?
Now,
Anyhow,
coming up next...
John Ronson.
To talk about...
He's talking about the famous secret society known as the Bohemian Grove. From New York City, Midnight Juggernauts with Into the Galaxy from the album Dystopia. Dystopia.
It's my favourite time of the year, Father Bob.
Christmas.
No, I think we're around Bohemian Grove time to talk about it. We have John Ronson, author and filmmaker, joining us from London. Hello, John.
John's at Starbucks.
Hello, John.
Yeah, well, I was wanting to get to Starbucks, and you called just as I was heading out.
Sorry.
Really, you
that.
sound very tired.
Well, I'm all right. If I get a bit annoyed during the interview, it's because I haven't had my coffee.
Yeah,
So-
you sound quite hostile, and you're
Hostile? The hell are you talking about?
and you're a relatively pleasant guy. I met you at a book festival many years ago. Do you remember that, and was I just another notch in your belt?
No, we had a lovely night together in Brisbane, and then I came on your show.
Yes.
But Father Bob, you weren't there.
No. I hadn't been discovered.
No, you were on the show, but because it wasn't. John says it was many years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Ah, yes.
No, you were off that night.
The thing I remember most about you, John Ronson, from the book festival is you showed me on your phone. You had like a video phone, and you showed me footage of your young child, lip syncing Eminem songs. And I thought, and I was there, and I did that smile on my face, going, "Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's lovely." When really, I'm thinking in my head, this is a bad father, bringing up his child very badly.
He's always been a violent child. He doesn't like Eminem anymore, luckily, but he does like wrestling. You know, WWE.
Oh, really?
That in Australia. It's confusing because some WWE wrestlers pretend to be dead for the storyline, and then other WWE wrestlers actually kill their wives and children and then themselves in real life. And it's very confusing for Joe. He doesn't know who's dead and who's not.
That's like the rappers where you think it's all a joke, like they're posing, that they're sort of like they've got this hostility with the other hip-hop crew. And then you're right. Then it's like a year later, it's like someone gets shot in the head outside. And it's like, what? I thought the whole thing was an act. It's like if suddenly in the middle of Spinal Tap, you actually find out that one of the Spinal Tap guys actually does get decapitated in the real world. It's just like, it's too confusing. Now, but we're here to talk to you because it's Bohemian Grove time, is it not, at the moment?
It is. Mid-July, late July.
Now, and we should say to the listeners why you're an expert in this thing. You wrote a book called Them, where you investigated secret societies. Is that right? Or are you going to get pretentious and go, "Oh, John, don't pigeonhole me like that"? The book was far more expansive and deep than that. And then
no, but I remember I did get annoyed last time I was on your show because you introduced me as a conspiracy theorist, and that's something I've never been. I've always been somebody who writes about conspiracy theorists and hangs out with them and sort of writes about their kind of nuttiness, because I don't really believe the theories.
And what, maybe explain, because Bohemian Grove is one of those sort of not particularly well-known ones. What's the general story behind the Bohemian Grove?
Well, I heard that every summer the global elite, you know, the Bushes and Dick Cheney...
the Rockefellers?
The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and Henry Kissinger all got together in a top-secret summer camp in a clearing in a forest in Northern California. And on the Saturday night, they all camped together, and on the Saturday night they put on robes and hoods and sacrificed an effigy of a human by throwing it into the fiery belly of a 50-foot stone owl. So I thought, well, that can't be true. So I thought I should sneak into Bohemian Grove and see if I can secretly film the owl burning ritual.
And what happened?
Well, it's true. I phoned up David Icke. Do you know David Icke?
He's the guy who used to be the soccer commentator and soccer coach. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And then he came out as saying that, you know, the secret rulers of the world are 12-foot blood-drinking, child-sacrificing, paedophile lizards who've adopted human form. And so I phoned him up and I said, I'm thinking about sneaking into Bohemian Grove, but I don't want to do it alone. Do you want to come? And he said, no, that's where the Transformers goes back into lizards. Don't go anywhere near that place. People disappear in those forests, and you get turned into sex slaves. So then I phoned up this guy called Alex Jones, who I'd met at Waco. He'd rebuilt David Koresh's church at Waco. And I said, I'm thinking about sneaking in. Do you want to come? And he said, of course I'm going to come. I'll get a camera and we'll get right up in their faces and confront those devil-worshipping Satanists. And I said, I think stealth might be a better approach. I said, okay, stealth. So we went there and snuck in.
You snuck in, and it was easy. Where's all the security and stuff? I mean, you know.
This is what was odd. You know, we had a big plan when we got there that we would, you know, rent a boat and sail up the river and then sort of get out and climb up the mountain and shimmy down the other side and get in that way. And then we met up with this local lawyer. This is in a place called Monte Rio, Occidental in Northern California, Napa Valley, you know, where they filmed Sideways. It's all like wine region, very posh. But we met this local lawyer who said, no, if you go in that way, you're going to get yourself killed. by the terrain. So Alex got out his notepad and wrote down, going in that way, dash, killed. So I said, well, how do we get in? He said, you just walk up the drive. He said, just go to Eddie Bauer, local sort of preppy clothes shop, buy some chinos, walk up the drive and give the security guard a kind of I rule the world wave. And that's how you get in.
And it worked?
Well, we went there. We went into Eddie Bauer, and Alex, at the last minute, got worried and thought, he doesn't know much about me. Maybe I was part of the conspiracy, like in the Wicker
God,
Man.
when those conspiracies get into, like, the conspiracy about the conspiracy about the conspiracy, it's like you're that conspiracy because you're really part of the CIA?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Alex kind of thought, you know that movie The Wicker Man, when they lure, somebody into a remote island and sacrifice him. I think Alex thought that that's what I was doing to him, and I was part of the Bohemians. So he decided to sneak in through the undergrowth and got a terrible rash because he fell into some poison ivy bush. And I walked up
poison ivy planted by the CIA, no doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, it is, I tell you, the one, there's a few really weird things about this story, and one is that, George Bush Sr. was there and Dick Cheney was there, and there was not a single bed in sight. Apparently they'd been there a couple of weeks before, but there was nobody there, because we just walked in and mingled all night and walked out and filmed the ritual and walked out again, and it was fine. I think it's more difficult now, now that I've written about it in them and we put the documentary out on TV, I think they have higher security.
So who was the most famous... So you saw George Bush Sr. there?
You said throwing a goat into a bloody owl or something.
Well, say that owl thing again, Father Bob.
But is that true?
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, it's true and it's not true. By the way, I should say I didn't see George Bush there, but what I saw was what I did see was a guest list and a bunch of posters up. It's like a sort of, retreat, very posh retreat, and they had like a guest list, and Dick Cheney's name was on the guest list, and I saw a poster for the next night's entertainment, and it was some orchestra, and the MC was George Bush. And George Bush has admitted many times that he's been there and goes every year.
So what do they think they're doing there? Is it like some kind of some fun kind of retreat where it's like a fraternity type thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a sort of Harvard or Yale type fraternity where you add a couple of zeros to the budget. And the human effort, it was insane. What you've got like 1,000 men, all of whom look like Mr. Burns' Simpsons. And ironically, Harry Shearer, who plays Mr. Burns, has been one year. He was the only person who's been who actually talked to me about it. He said they invited him to Jew the place up. Which just goes to show that, it's not a Jewish conspiracy, because like Harry Shearer was like the only Jew there. Of 1,000 men who all look like the sort of most important person in Cincinnati, or so on,
Cincinnati.
And so at 9 p.m. a bell is rung, and everybody drifts down to this grass verge with a little pond. And then on the other side of the pond is this giant owl. And this bizarre ceremony, which you can watch online, by the way, if you stick Bohemian Grove into Google, or Bohemian Grove Alex Jones, John Ronson, or something, you'll find this ceremony. Because Alex secretly filmed it in a with a hidden camera on an angle in his bag. He was terrified. He thought he was witnessing actual human sacrifice. All these men in robes come down to the lakeside, and they have this kind of ritual. There's one guy who's just like an elf in leaf-covered lederhosen.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, really. He's in a tree, just going, "Oh, trees, oh, fields," eulogizing nature. And then the high priest comes down, and then this voice goes, he says, "We shall burn ye again." And this voice in the forest goes, "Ye shall not burn me." And year after year ye burn me, but not this year. Anyway, and then this papier-mâché effigy turns up on a gondola, and they pick it up, throw it into this giant bonfire, and everybody cheers. And that's basically the end of it. And they're saying what they're burning is all their worries and cares in the world.
And that helps them to rule the world.
Well, it helps them to enjoy their 2 weeks off in Bohemian Grove. Alex says it was actual human sacrifice. The thing that struck me as most weird about the whole thing, was that Alex and his partner Maguire really freaks out and really, really sort of taking this ritual seriously. And I was thinking it was just stupid. But the 1,000 men, these guys, who rule the world, were taking it just as seriously as Alex and Mike were. They were really into this. There was like this kind of orgiastic sort of glee on their faces. So I thought, God, I'm the only sane person in the entire redwood forest.
Isn't it?
And what about those other ones? So you think the Bohemian Grove is actually just a bit of fun with a giant owl? What about like the Illuminati and all those other secret societies? What's the Bilderberg group?
Yeah, I tried to sneak into the Bilderberg group once and got chased away by their security guards. They were like hiding behind trees and following me down dusty lanes in Portugal, which was terrifying, I've got to tell you. Try being followed by the shadowy henchmen of the secret rulers of the world. It is not nice. I mean, sure, these people meet and try and rule the world. That's what they do. They're evil. I mean, just Conrad Black, who would go to Bohemian Grove and go to the Bilderberg group. I mean, these people are sort of crooks, and they want to consolidate power, and they like to think of us down here as the masses to be sort of exploited. So, sometimes I think that the purpose of these clubs and the purpose of these rituals is to give them a kind of mandate to rule the world, give them a kind of superiority complex, to kind of create this sort of milieu that it's all right for us to rule the world because we're special, because we have these rituals.
Because we're smart enough to burn a giant owl.
Yeah.
Hoi polloi, they're too stupid to do that.
Well, my second book after them is this book called The Men Who Stare at Goats, which kind of looks at this in more detail. It looks at how, our leaders sort of fostering themselves a sense of almost supernatural superiority by trying out all these experiments, like trying to kill goats just by staring at them.
Now, have you found everything in every nook and cranny, or is there still more to find that it's going to be covered in your future book?
Well, in terms of conspiracies, I think of that kind of conspiracies, I think I'm done, because the 9/11 conspiracy and the July 7th conspiracy just kind of annoy me. I found sort of chasing Bilderberg and getting into Bohemian Grove, I sort of found that really good fun. But the 9/11 conspiracy theorists, and I'm about to really annoy 30.
Why does it annoy you so much?
They flew the plane into the Pentagon.
Well, it's because it's so obviously not true, and it kind of makes me, I'm about to sort of alienate 36% of your listeners, because that's statistically how many people believe in this conspiracy that 9/11 was an inside job. It just bugs me because it's so obviously not true, and it just doesn't seem funny anymore when that many people believe it. It's like, wake up, It's like there's enough real things to get annoyed about in the world than some made-up conspiracy. And so, the fact that I can't find it funny anymore, I can't really write about it anymore. But hopefully, there are other things I find funny. So I'll write about them instead.
No, I can't believe you don't find the death of 3,000 people in a burning building fun. There's lots of comedy there. You're just not looking hard enough. Now, thank you very much for joining us, John Ronson.
Hey, John, it was really nice to talk to you again.
Have your coffee, mate. Have your coffee.
Yeah, I tell you what I need when I'm an addict.
And say hi to the kitty.
Will do, but if I do, he'll just attack me.
See you, John.
Ta-da. That's the Rogers Sisters with Why Won't You? And it's from the album The Invisible Deck.
Really wish I didn't talk to him about his child. I think that made me sound a bit kind of...
What?
Bit palsy or something to the listener.
Yeah, that was a bit intimate.
But not intimate, like the listener who's lying in bed at, listening to their clock radio, a bit like, what's this sort of like backslapping, sycophantic kind of crap of, we met at the book festival 2 years ago. And it's just like, I reckon to your average listener, it's like, all it didn't do me any favours. It made me seem like not part of their world, but like part of some sort of like book festival backslapping.
You have to put yourself into bed with the person waiting.
I have to put myself into bed with the Triple J listener.
It's very difficult, I would have thought, to do. Instead of engaging in reality with the man himself. It's like I've become a bit like Sting.
There was once a really good article in The Onion, that comedy newspaper, which was all about, I won't explain the humour, but the idea behind it was that people forget that Sting, who is like the image of kind of banal, adult-oriented, middle-of-the-road, just conformity. Or at one point, he was the lead singer of the Police, and at one point at the very start, they were like the most freshest alternative thing going in the world. And then it's like slippery. So I somehow feel...
Do you think it's creeping up on you?
Well, I feel like my backslapping with John Ronson about the book festival, talking about his kid, was like me slipping away from
I see. Yeah.
from the kiddies being.
Well, that's
going,
the kiddies you see are relying on you.
And me slipping into that.
Not
kind
slipping
of world.
into it, to get out of it. You see what I mean?
It's very hard, though, unless you're like Timothy Leary. It's very hard to be as old as me and Timothy Leary and sort of like remain... you just got to take lots of
Well, you could
drugs.
take psychedelic drugs.
Maybe that's it.
That might help.
Maybe next show we'll take
We're
psychedelic
not recommending
drugs.
it, kiddies. Don't try this at home.
Did you take Grinspoon interview? Lead singer of Grinspoon
Bits
on
of it.
Denton?
Bits.
Didn't understand what was in it for the guy.
No.
I didn't understand what was in it for him. It was there were too many layers of melancholy and confusion for me. And it was like
What's
he was
going to
only
happen to me when he gets me?
He was only hooked like about 2 months ago. It's not like he's talking about something
No, not long.
that happened
no.
2 years ago or 4 years
I see
ago.
what you mean.
His parents were Christian musicians, lead singer of Grinspoon. I blame the church. Then
Why not?
he took ice. Not good.
No, not good. Didn't come across not happy with that.
Yes, and the whole thing that he had a record to promote. I don't know.
So he was using it, you mean, opportunistically?
I don't think he was using it. I don't think he was using it. But
His agent was using it.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. Coming up
What do
next...
you mean? You started it.
Yeah, I know.
Coming up next is Margie. Margie is here. She features in Changing Teams, episode 4 of the series, screening on the Inside Australia time slot on SBS. The Waifs with Sun, Dirt, Water.
This is Triple J. Father Bob, as you know, we often have people of the Islamic faith on our show. In fact, we have more Muslims on this. This might as well be Al Jazeera Radio.
It could well be.
Nearly every
Salam
week.
packs.
But we have a very special woman, Margie. Are you there?
Hi.
How are you?
But is it
Not
Margie? Is it
Thursday.
Margie or
Margie.
Margie?
It's
Margie.
Margie.
Salam,
John.
salam alaikum. I'll talk in your language.
Alaikum salam.
So you understand what I'm talking. Now you're the subject of a little half-hour documentary that's
That's
going to
correct.
be playing on SBS in a couple of months.
That's correct, yes.
It's
I
very
believe
good.
August.
It's very good. I don't know whether you're responsible for. I guess you are because you're the
no,
subject.
not really.
And
I wasn't
or
responsible.
whether it's more the director. And you've got an interesting story because you weren't born Muslim
No,
in
I wasn't.
Arabia.
No.
So give us your background. You were born Catholic.
I was baptised a Catholic, and actually Father Bob baptised my two nephews.
Truly?
And I was present there, yeah, at the christening. How's that? And,
Was it nice?
Oh, yeah, pretty crazy, but good, yeah.
Oh, that-
I think we're going to find out that it was that moment that you started in your head
Questioning the
thinking,
Catholic religion.
No,
whether
it was
Catholicism
years-
really was the right choice.
It was years later.
But you were born in Australia?
No, I was actually born in London, but brought out when I was very, very young. So yes,
You're now
I'm
in your
Australian.
40s, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 47 this year. I'm very proud of it.
And how many years ago did you decide, listen, this whole Father Bob caper of Catholicism is ridiculous. I'm gonna cross the line.
Now,
over."
that's not very good because I'm still wondering how you got out of America alive when you were interviewing Mormons knocking on their doors. So, that's not a fair statement. But no, I sort of wandered off the trail, I suppose you could say, there for a while. And I suppose I thought I was an atheist, but I wasn't. I was more agnostic, and just that Islam had the right answers that I was looking for.
But this was only a few years ago, wasn't it?
I looked into a few religions, but it was only a couple of years ago that I actually, what I call, reverted back to Islam, because I believe we're all born Muslims and then trail along our different ways. But I actually studied it for about 5-ish years. So that and a few other religions, I looked into a bit of theologism there.
Well, what was wrong with Judaism? Why are you having a go at my people? I don't want to make any accusations here.
My eldest daughter's engaged to one of your people. We don't go to my people, your people in our house, thank you. We all pray to the same God. That's all we need.
But how did your children cope when you said, well, not cope, that sounds like I'm being really negative and racist. How did your children celebrate when you made this wonderful decision to become Muslim?
The way they usually do, and laugh and say it was one of my whims, of course, but then now they're very supportive, actually. I
was thinking that when I watched this documentary, because obviously it's half an hour and there's lots of holes in like where you're watching going, I wonder about that. And one of the things is you're single now, aren't you? Or you were?
I'm single. In
so much as like the father of your children is no longer there, and I wondered. No. And when did that happen? Like I wondered how much being a single woman influenced your decision.
Many years ago. I've raised my children by myself for many years, all their lives, literally. It's 16 years. My youngest is 16, so I've raised them for 16 years by myself. And the
reason I ask you that is because I interviewed this. It was one of these cutting room floor things, but I interviewed this woman who was a single mother in England who was around your age. And she'd converted, and her family, because she knew how to boss her children around a bit better than you. Her children also became Muslim, and the way she kind of contextualised becoming a Muslim woman was in this kind of feminist way, like to protect. She said, "I like that I get to wear this outfit, which means men know I'm not available."
No, this has had nothing to do with it. My covering, as I hope I got it across in there, because I actually haven't even seen the tape yet. Yeah, I've only seen a few minutes of it.
But not only the covering, but the way she contextualised the whole of Islam was from a sort of feminist thing. Of saying if you're a single woman, becoming Islam, the theology and all this stuff like that, really kind of gives you a kind of a protection, I guess.
I can see where she's coming from, but that's totally not what the reason I went there, because I'm actually a psychiatric nurse, and I've been a nurse for a long time, and I'm out there, so I don't believe that I would never have believed that I needed any form of protection or anything. My choice of covering was between myself and God. As I hope I came across on the documentary. It's all right, I just finished a night shift last night and you've caught me on a really good time. And I'm hoping that I've portrayed that it had nothing to do with, any man, any great oppression or anything like that. That it was my choice to cover, and my choice was because God has asked me to cover and to be modest, and that's what I wanted to portray. And it had nothing to do with me being a single mother. And as I said, it's I've brought up my children for the last 16 years on my own.
I'm glad I brought up the whole single mother thing, because usually I just come across as being this racist, but now sort of in this interview,
no, that's okay.
I've hybrided, so I come across like a racist and a sexist at the same time.
Racist and a sexist. No,
all I have to do is become across as a homophobe somehow in this interview, and it'll be perfect. I'll have the trifecta.
No, like I said, I'm just still amazed that you got out without a bullet in your back from America. I watched that show; it was incredible. Knocking on Mormons'
now, do you feel a degree of pressure to stay the course now? Because
not at all. Not at all.
But do you think you are? Do you think up until your dying day are you going to be a Muslim?
I believe so. I truly believe I will be, and I truly... I hope I'll go to heaven. I mean, I'm only human. I make the same mistakes, and as everybody else does. We're only human and everything else, and I always will be. There's no godlike figures in here in my beliefs or my... knowings. I do pray 5 times a day, and try my best at things like that. And as I try to,
and your Aussie family, your Aussie family in the documentary, they knew the cameras were on, and also it was early stages. They just heard that you're trying to get married to this Muslim guy overseas, etc., etc. And they were polite, but you could tell that they were a bit apprehensive about this new lifestyle choice. Where's that at the moment? Have they booted you out of the family? Have they now embraced you more, or is it still ambivalent?
Unfortunately, no. They still keep inviting me around for dinner and that. So we still mix and things like that. No, they're quite. I think because I'm the second youngest of the family, they sort of still treat me like I'm 16 or something. But they keep forgetting I'm coming up 47 now, and And Sabah, which is his name, he's a very good man, and he's very he's quite pious, very pious, actually a lot more pious than I am.
Is
I'm
this
hoping
the overseas...
the overseas husband, however you'd like to put it, John. You can...
I don't know, but you haven't seen the final cut of the documentary.
I haven't.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened at the end. At the end, you're just left with he's overseas and you're here, and you don't know what's going to happen. So
we do. We've got arrangements made already, but we're just working on them at the moment. We left sort of bits and pieces out that became personal because we wanted to stick to the facts on the documentary of getting away from the terrorism part.
Yes.
And putting it more towards, because I actually went up to my daughter's high school up here, secondary school, and I was trying to put across to them, what's their concept of it, because I'm the only Muslim up here in Cobden, as you can imagine, in the country, and what their concept of things were, and what words like jihad mean. I mean, what does the word jihad mean to you, John?
All embracing hugs and Care Bears.
Good.
And lollipops.
Glad to hear it. No, but I mean, it's just, like I explained, it's just your own internal holy war. It's me getting out of bed at 2 degrees so I can get up and go to work or get up to pray, It's getting out of that warm bed. It's, having a prosperous day, trying not to swear at umpires at football games.
I know. That was the main thing. I had no problem with you wearing the hijab and all that and the jihad stuff. It was when I saw you were a Collingwood supporter. That's when I was very, very angry.
Oh, look, when you said about changing teams at the start of the thing, I was going to say, but I'll never change from Collingwood.
Can you have a covering in Collingwood colours?
Well, I did.
Did you?
I did, Father Bob. I had my black hijab on and I had my white scarf underneath, and I had actually white pearls on. I know.
Now, have you told Sabah that you won't have him unless he becomes a Collingwood supporter?
Oh, well, he has no choice. Everybody in this house has no choice. We live in this house as Collingwood supporters, Father Bob. That's all there is to it.
Thank you very much for joining us.
So that's fine.
And people can see your little documentary, which you are the subject of, in about a month and a bit's time.
I believe in about the end of August,
yes.
Roughly, I believe. But I hope they look out for it, because the others are so well done as well, and it just
there's
gives
3
so
other
much
little
more,
documentaries too.
Exactly, and it gives so much more insight into it, other than the terrorism, and all the Islamophobia. So.
Well done, Margie.
No worries, Father Bob and John. I will talk to you later, I hope.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Religious Song of the Week.
Religious Song of the Week this week, RJD2, Laws of the Gods.
Beautiful.
When the kosher voice are just another part of you.
Goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Simon Weinstock. Goodbye, Emma Schwarz. Goodbye, John Ronson. Goodbye, Margie. Anyone else to say goodbye to?
It's goodbye from him.
Jean-Francois Julliard.
Yes, thank you, in Paris.
You can go to triplej.net.au/Safran if you want to go to the guest book, or you want to download the podcast. And, talk to you, everyone, next week. Bye-bye.